We're back.
We're back. Welcome to Elvis Fans Matter. And here we are again. Ready to go. All righty. Here we go with the question. I can feel it coming.
All right.
You,
Can you feel it?
Yeah,
I can feel it.
All right. Did Elvis watch the local news stations?
yeah. All three of them.
We had three whole
channels,
stations.
3 whole channels.
Yeah.
3,
No
5,
cable,
and
no
13. And he watched all three of them. That's why he had 3 TVs. He could
Watch
all of
one.
them.
That's really why.
What?
That's really why he had 3 TVs. He
Well,
could
if
watch
it was-
each channel at
if it
one
was-
time.
3 football games on. Or
He could
anything.
change.
Okay.
That back then it made sense. Now it's funny. You think what?
Yeah. All right. Do you know if Elvis kept a journal or a diary?
No, I can tell you right now. No.
And like we said before, somebody put out in one of his little speeches or whatever you want to call it, that he kept a journal and kept a diary about things Elvis did and all that. And me and Billy just looked at each other and said, "Not if Elvis knew it."
That's right.
You didn't.
He may have, but he didn't ever.
No, he didn't allow anything like
He
that.
didn't show Elvis
No.
or tell him about it either.
Him or his diary, the one
Yeah.
with the been
No.
around.
That's one thing he didn't like at all.
Mm-mm.
And I mean at all.
Or whispering.
Or short.
A tall or short.
Short.
But he liked short. Kind of.
Oh, would you like knuckles?
Kapowie to the moon.
Kapow. All right.
All right. Did Elvis like magic and magicians?
Yeah, he liked it, boy. I tell you. Yeah, in fact, we went to Vegas, you know.
We went to shows with him.
To see a couple, 3 magic shows.
Is that?
It fascinated them to see how, you know, certain things that they did, you know, it's really hard to figure out how they might do it, you know, and all.
He always had an answer.
I can't pass to that.
What?
His favorite trick, his favorite magic trick. We all laughing at.
Go
It's
ahead.
when the magician would stick his head up his hiney and make himself disappear.
Make yourself disappear. Well, how'd you like it when those dancing girls slung their dress over your head and you disappeared?
I liked it.
Did you?
Oh, you better quit.
No, we went to a show out in with Elvis in Vegas, and I think they had it fixed. Like Billy said, he thought the guys set it up because they knew some of the showgirls, and we had seats right up next to the stage. Well, and they were topless, and I was looking at their outfits, and all of a sudden I realized they were topless, and I was like, I know what you were looking, and they came dancing.
I started tearing them in.
They had it was like can. They had their dresses going like this and dancing, and they went to turn, and when they did, they just right over Billy's head. And they never let him live that down. Neither did I.
Yeah, and still don't.
And still don't.
It was a sight for sore eyes.
And you were yours were sore after I got through with you.
Oh, golly.
Black
Anyway,
eye.
right there we
Black
move
eyes.
on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I've gone backwards. Give me just a second.
Ow, you better quit pinching me. It's over. You're supposed to be
It's
talking about
over.
Okay. Did Elvis ever meet Ike and Tina Turner?
In passing.
No.
He passed him one time. Wayne.
Wayne.
No, yeah, I'm thinking he did. I wasn't around if he did. But I know he
the
talked
guys
about
said-
them a lot. You know,
Yeah, and the guys, one of the guys said they did.
Yeah,
That-
so I think maybe he did. You know, but he met a lot of artists. You know. He liked back in. He liked Ike and Tina Turner and Billy Ward and the Dorados, and they used to say, you know, how Clyde McFadder sang with Billy Ward and the Dorados, and then he got, you know, broke out on his own, and after he did, well, Jackie Wilson joined,
I know he
take
was
his spot,
like Jackie Wilson.
and then naturally Jackie Wilson broke out on his own and all, and you know, but,
Broke out. They all broke out.
I mean, they were in jail. Had to break out. They broke run.
You have to realize Billy's phrasing, broke out.
Well, I broke out with the measles one time.
This says, do you think that there would have been good duets with Elvis? Do you think that maybe if he had done a duet with Tina Turner or Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, do you think any of those could have been good duets?
Probably so. Would probably been great, but it wasn't gonna happen.
No.
Colonel, you know, he wasn't in RCA, you know.
Elvis had to be the lead, the
Yeah.
main thing, and
Main,
only
yeah.
Elvis.
Even was it a
And-
deal? Even if that artist was an RCA artist, like
No.
if
It
they were
wouldn't have made any
RCA, they
difference.
would not
No,
combine
it
them
would
just
have
for like
been-
one song.
It wasn't allowed.
Because then it would have been like Elvis was not, you know, just by himself, and I don't know if Elvis would have. Elvis may have
He also, you know, he would have had to
shared.
give them credit, you know.
Right.
I mean,
I mean, a lot of
Equal-
times,
equal, stardom, you know. and
you'll see artists that'll say, you know, so and so featuring such and such, and one of them is the main. It's their song, the main, and the other person is
Yeah.
featured in it. But I mean, it was just not ever going to happen.
No, Elvis was too big, you know, for that, and Colonel he was weird about stuff like that. He just Elvis didn't make appearances for people and didn't do things just for the heck of it. He kept Elvis in demand.
Did
Elvis kept him himself in demand, though.
Did he ever meet the Everly Brothers? Did he like them?
I think he met him, but I don't know for sure. God, I didn't get to travel with him back then. I was, you know, too young. But yeah, he liked them. You know, he liked a lot of their songs and all. In fact, he recorded one of them, Kathy's Clown. Wasn't it Kathy's Clown?
I don't know. Was that Everly Brothers?
Yeah,
I've heard him sing it. No,
it was one of them. I mean, he recorded. You know, old timers. You know, you can't you get it.
You had to research it. And
we
Yeah,
got to research that
I'll have to. Pardon me.
because being there is not as good
Whoa.
as history.
Let's see. What about the Beatles? Y'all.
What about the
You've
Beatles?
told the story about getting to meet the Beatles, and they had it in the newspaper the night Elvis shared his women with the Beatles. Y'all told about that, but we had somebody ask.
I'll whoop me one good. Trying to mess with Joe and I.
You did not.
We had.
No, they
were real nice. They were super nice, and that's when Brian Epstein, their manager, was still alive. That's before he died. And they came to the house on Perugia Way.
Yeah.
And we were living with Elvis on Perugia Way.
We had a follower ask, was it true that Elvis tried to basically have the Beatles like blackballed in music or banned from anything?
No.
I mean, did the Beatles and Elvis have this big controversy
No,
going?
the Beatles loved Elvis as
Yeah.
far as like John Lennon
And
said,
he
before
loved
Elvis there was nothing. You know, and
No, he wouldn't do that.
no, he wouldn't have
He
done
would- he
anything. He
would
wouldn't
not
have tried anything like that.
Of course, you know, music-wise and career-wise, you know, it concerned him.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause like I say, Elvis was,
He came up fast, like they came up fast, and he knew it could happen. You know, he knew somebody could come in and
went wild
and-
over him,
yeah.
and they did the Beatles when they came over here, and so naturally that would concern any artist. You know,
Right.
especially when you're making movies like Elvis was, and not doing live performances.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, and he wondered, do I
still have it.
still have it? Could I draw a crowd,
Right.
and perform like I used to?
It's funny because all the guys were talking about how great they are and how this, that, and the other. And he said, "Well, I tell you what, y'all think they're so this, that, and the other. Why don't you go work for them? I could arrange it." Oh no, we.
Who was your favorite of the Beatles?
Mine.
Both of you.
I don't know. I didn't particularly have any favorite. I liked them all.
I liked all of them too.
Seemed, real
I
nice.
thought George was the most.
He was the quietest.
Yeah, he was the most unique one. I always liked Paul, but Ringo was real funny. Like you said one time when Alvina had fixed snacks and everything and brought in there, she stepped on his foot, and I could just see him, and and thinking now, I'm thinking, God, we really met the Beatles. They were, and he went, "Oh, she has mashed my bloody foot off." But they were all nice, as nice as they could be.
Yeah.
What was that Elvis said when they first came in? They were just in awe of him when he came out into the den. They just were sitting, just staring at him, because that's how Elvis affected people. He was just that pretty, and they were just staring at him. And he said, what was it he said? If y'all just gonna sit there and stare and not say anything,
I'm going to bed.
I'm getting up and going to bed. And then they started laughing and so.
Do you think if Elvis was alive today, especially in the recent, we brought up Tina Turner, and at the time of recording the video, Tina Turner has recently passed away. Do you think if Elvis was still alive today, would he have gone to funerals of any of the fellow celebrities as they?
I don't think so.
I don't either. He just
wouldn't.
He didn't like to go to anybody's funeral hardly. It just bothered him. I know he went to Ginger's grandfather's. I think is the last one he went to, and that was to make because of her and get her over there and everything. It was real bad weather, but he didn't like to go, especially family. A lot, he just didn't. Like you said, it was bad enough to lose them and then have to relive all that. And no, it wasn't out of disrespect, because I know when Billy's brother passed away, when his daddy passed away, he called and he talked to Billy and talked to Billy and talked to Billy, but he was real upset. I know we were on tour with him when Bobby Jane passed away.
His first cousin.
Billy's first cousin, Aunt Lillian's daughter, and nobody told him about it until after his show was over, because he would just, like he said one time, I'd rather die myself than to have one more of my family that I'm close to pass away. I can't hardly stand it. So, it's probably in Elvis's, his mother killed him when she passed away. But if his daddy had passed away, I don't know that Elvis could have handled it. He was so.
I don't know. It'd been hard. I don't know if he could have.
It would have been so hard for him.
Yeah.
Because he was so close to his mother and daddy.
And here, this is an interesting one. It says, do you think that Elvis would have liked any of Lisa's husbands?
I think he would have liked Danny Keough. He loved that name anyway.
So she had, Danny Keough,
Michael Jackson,
Nicolas Cage, and Michael Lockwood.
Michael Lockwood, yeah. I think he probably would have liked Danny all except the Scientology. I don't think he would have cared for that, but, you know, a lot of times Elvis didn't discuss people's personal issues with them. But as long as they were good to Lisa, that would be the main thing, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
But I think out of all, I think to me, Danny just seemed like her. She always clung to him even after they divorced, and you know that was her children's father. Of course, you know.
Well,
Michael was too.
Riley and Ben's dad, and then Lockwood is.
But that was her first.
Family,
her first.
Well,
husband.
It just seemed like
they were closer.
They were close and remained good friends and remained close, and it seemed like if you saw her towards the end, he was around and with her. So I mean,
he tried to help her after Ben passed away. It's what I've heard that he tried. Which
had to be hard too because Ben was
his son too. Yeah, and I think they just had more connection than any of the others.
Yeah. What do you think Elvis would think about some of the current musical artists? I mean, do you think that he would feel a lot of current music is just out there? Some of it.
I think he would have liked some of them, and
some of them he wouldn't.
He wouldn't, yeah.
No,
he didn't like the ones that he called the screamers.
Right.
He didn't like if they didn't have a voice. He didn't like just getting. Like I said, that's why he did not care for hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
And because he said all they did was scream, and the only thing that was music to him out of that was the instruments. You know, he didn't care for that. He liked, but like we were talking about before, he could do anything. He could sing anyway.
Right.
He could.
Did you ever hear him sing the national anthem?
I can't remember.
No, I can't say that.
I can't say I have.
Was he ever invited to sing the national anthem?
No.
I remember.
I don't know.
I just didn't know if maybe he was asked and he turned it down.
I don't think he would have been able to do that anyway because he was, back then, big stars like Elvis and I don't know that the Colonel would have gone for that. Colonel wouldn't go for anything that wasn't paid.
And clarify, because somebody's we're gonna comment. You're not saying he couldn't have sang the national anthem.
He could, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're saying it might not have been possible with the Colonel or with his schedule or whatever, yeah.
Colonel, Elvis didn't do stuff for free unless it was a charity or something that he gave to, or, you know, Colonel didn't, from what Billy's told me, Colonel didn't, Elvis was not a freebie for anything.
Right. Well, you see nowadays a lot of celebrities do the national anthem for Major League Baseball or for the Super Bowl or for whatever. So yeah, somebody had asked, did you ever hear him sing the national anthem? Was he ever invited to sing?
That's a point there because we've talked about that before. It's different nowadays for celebrities than it was then because I could not imagine Elvis Presley standing out
in the middle of
a
football
singing the national anthem. I can't. Can you? I just can't.
Or performing a Super Bowl.
No. He was just. It seemed like he was just bigger than all that. You know, he couldn't. And now you see entertainers and singers that are very famous.
Some of the biggest celebrities.
They do
it's a big deal to be invited. But I guess it's different.
Back then, it just didn't do that.
We got just a couple more, and then we'll let it go because that'll sum up out of all of our videos all the questions that we've had come in. Who did Dodger live with when Vernon passed away?
Delta at Graceland. Yeah. She stayed at Graceland.
They stayed there.
Both of them stayed there in Grandma's room. They lived in that was off limits to the tourists, to the fans. they lived in her room until she died.
Okay. And it was basically the same question. I jotted it down, but it was, who did Audra live with when Vernon passed? And it says, what were the living arrangements for Lisa, Delta, Dodger, and Vernon when Elvis passed away? Well, I mean, they were there at Graceland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except Lisa, and she was, of course, back with her mama, but did she come back and forth to Graceland to visit her granddaddy?
Not as often, but yeah.
But she did come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Vernon had his house, but then after he got sicker, him and Sandy moved into the garage apartment.
Okay.
At Graceland.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Right there.
that's where he lived before he passed away.
Here's another celebrity question, so let's get it in. Did Elvis ever meet Marilyn Monroe that you know of?
I don't know.
I have no idea. I really don't think he did, but I couldn't, swear to it.
Like you said, when you were too young to travel with him,
Yeah.
and he first went out there, he met a lot of stars that we didn't know, and then after you traveled, and then you stayed home that time when your daddy was sick, and when he probably met people that we didn't, and they did different things that we we didn't know about. But
I'm gonna ask because it's one of my favorite singers ever. Did he have a comment on Janis Joplin?
I never heard him say anything about it. I love Janis Joplin, but she was a screamer.
Yeah, I just wonder because her form of hers was more of a hippie rock and roll, where his was not, and I just wondered
her being. When did she become famous? When did she first become famous? I don't remember.
I have to look, but I would imagine late 60s, early 70s, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
That's what I was going to say. I don't remember him ever commenting on her, or
no, I can't.
I'm pretty sure he didn't listen to her.
Not that I remember.
Me either.
And
you had asked something about the book, the Red and Sonny, in the other video you had asked them? Oh, okay.
Yeah, in one of the earlier videos we did was after Red and Sonny's book, the question was, do you think Elvis was kind of worried about his, worried how people might view him or see him after the book, or would their opinion change, or...
He worried about it, yeah. He was concerned about it.
Mm-hmm.
Afraid somebody would yell out some kind of slur, or something like that, or mention the drugs, and he had already thought about what he would say, that I've got my doctor with me, and he goes with me because he knows I need these things, and that would have been his
answer to it.
Didn't
Didn't you talk to him more? Didn't you and Elvis talk about the book? It was Red, Sonny, and Dave Hebler.
A little bit, yeah.
That they did the book, but y'all discussed that book coming out and how he felt about it up in his room. I remember you telling me about it, and
he was angry at times and sad at times.
Well, that has to be a slap in the face.
Yeah.
I would have, he said, probably would have hired him back. But
at that point,
it was a little too late for that.
It hurt him about it. I'm sure it hurt them when they got fired, but it to me, I've never thought it was out of trying to help. I always thought it was revenge, and I knew them, loved every one of them, I didn't know Dave as well as, but we, you know, we got to know Dave, but we only knew him for 2 or 3 years. But Red and Sonny, ever since I've ever known, you know, them, been around Elvis, I was crazy about Red and Sonny and their families, but I just feel like it was revenge, and to show Elvis that, you know, he couldn't do to them without them doing it back. I mean, I know they loved him, but to me it was revenge. What do you think?
I think it was a lot revenge, yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. Don't know, you know, what anybody else would do, or you don't know till you're put in that position what you would feel. I'm sure it hurt him and embarrassed him and everything else that he fired him. But his daddy actually fired him, but it was with Elvis's approval.
Yeah.
But you know,
which of the cars that Elvis gave you guys, which one do you wish you still had the most?
he gave us a lot of them, and my favorite car that he ever gave us, and you know what I'm gonna say, don't you?
The gold Cadillac Eldorado. Yeah, convertible.
I loved it. That was the most beautiful car. And I liked my Corvette. I liked the Grand Prix, the Cadillac. I liked the Lincoln was beautiful. Mm-hmm. But out of all of them, it was something about that gold Eldorado. What was it, a 64?
64.
64 gold Eldorado convertible. Leather seats. It was beautiful. Beautiful. He gave all the guys a Cadillac, and he picked.
Yeah, convertible.
He wouldn't get Billy's out in California. He made Billy wait until he got back because he didn't want Billy to drive. He wanted Billy to ride with him. So
he had to wait.
Yeah, he had to wait till he got back to Memphis, and he told his daddy to go and pick a Cadillac for you. And I went up there to pick up Billy's check because we always did. Patsy Lacker and me, we would go on Fridays, and then we'd go shopping and out to eat with Patsy Presley and Becky Yancey, and I went up there, and I remember Uncle Vernon it was parked out there, and I thought, God, that's a pretty car. And we were talking about in the office who was going to drive, and he turned to me and said, Joe, why don't you take them in a good car? And I said, I beg your pardon? He had me the keys to that, and I was a nervous wreck because that thing was a mile long. and he said, take them to lunch in this car. And he said, this is the one that he's going to give to Billy. And I'm like, so I remember I hated to leave it parked. But we went, and we went in it. Me and Patsy Lacker did. Becky and Patsy Presley went in another one, but me and Patsy Lacker went in it, and I can remember trying to back up. I thought, oh my God, I'm never going. If I wreck this thing, but
Elvis drove it first before I.
Yeah, Elvis drove it from up there before you ever.
Before I ever drove it, before you gave it to me.
It was beautiful.
Oh God, it was.
God, it was beautiful.
Yes,
I think it was in. I'm thinking that was the one that was
Johnny
used in that Johnny Cash movie.
Sure. I'm pretty sure, because it looks.
It looks just like it.
I'm just checking our camera. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so
yeah, we had a right in the middle of one, and it just cut off. So we just Danielle's checking to make sure it's going good.
Wow.
Well, this is kind of.
I just want to say this too.
You will say it and hurry up for me.
Okay.
No.
We can't wait to see everybody in August. If we're still kicking, I hope we are. We were sick for a while and wasn't able to do videos or anything. And
if they find your hiney up on your shoulders, they'll know I'm still kicking.
They'll know you're still kicking. But we officially sold out. So I hate that if anybody else, wanted a ticket and didn't get it. But we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people and.
It's rolling around.
Yeah.
Doing our thing.
We're getting close. It's almost June, and by the time this video airs, it will be June. So will be
Yeah.
about 2 months away.
A lot of people that have texted us and everything, and that we're looking for. And Bobby and Tammy, that lake looks so good, and can't wait to see y'all.
We are looking forward to it.
And with
What
that,
do we always say?
we always say,
Elvis fans matter.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.